Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. You're hearing me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. You're welcome. And Judy, thank you for the recognition, for all that, for all those that have stepped up. Congratulations. For all those that have stepped up, congratulations. And we thank you for making it happen. Annie Ngao, who was my previous speaker, she's one that introduced me to Nairobi. So I can't even begin speaking without recognizing you. And also Charles and Judith Njeru have played a very big part in my life. And I also want to salute you. You have the best upline. So those who don't know me, I'm Mrs. Nduhura Prudence. I'm married with two beautiful children. I did my training in computer science, and Neolife phoned me as secretary. It phoned me when I was a secretary, earning about $100 a month. I was financially struggling, and the money that I was getting was not enough. I was living just in one room, a one-roomed house, if I could call it. So I could hardly eat a meal after work because of the accumulated bills and expenses that were all around me. So that is when a friend, a mother, introduced this opportunity to me. And I liked the way she was growing financially, and I liked the success that was around her, and I really admired it. And this made me join the business because one thing she told me is that you could do this business part-time. You don't have to leave your job. Now that really motivated me, and I did the business. I had nothing to lose, but everything to gain because I still had my job and I could do Neolife part-time. So I worked so hard, and within 6 months, I was able to make about $200. Now, going home with $200 part-time and $100 a month really excited me. So I started enjoying all the financial benefits. Now, when I remember my first check I got as a director, I went and told all my classmates and made a photocopy and told all my classmates at the university because they were all working where we had all gotten jobs. So I shared with them, and others used the products, others joined, others said, no, it will not work. But those that came on board, we really did the business together. We enjoyed it, and they also started enjoying the benefits too. The products were also amazing. It's also another benefit I got from Neolife. I remember when I got married, had my two children. By the time I was having the second child, I was overweight, and this weight could not go. So I used the products of the company that was Neolife Shake and Provitality. At that time, I was weighing 95 kilograms. I was threatened with life-threatening diseases, lifestyle diseases. I had lost my self-esteem. I could hardly put on a nice dress. I would hardly even take pictures and even be around people. So I used the Neolife products, and I was able to reduce to 22 kilograms in 6 months. So it's an amazing success story. It's also one other benefit that I got in Neolife besides being financially free. Then also, I was able to leave the one-room house. And now as I speak, I'm in my own house, courtesy of Neolife. Then I also developed a saving culture. Before, when I was earning $100 at work, I could hardly save because of the kind of money that was coming in and the expenses. But after joining Neolife and getting all those financial benefits, I started saving, and it has been a wonderful journey. So what are the greatest highlights? Just before I share with you the social media, my greatest highlights have been, one, I've been able to look after my father. My father has been sick for 5 years, and just because of Neolife, I've been able to look after him, and he's in good health. Then secondly, in August 2019, my husband lost his job, and I was left as the person to take care of the family. Thank God, I was doing Neolife, and Neolife sustained us during that time when he had lost his job. Now, I looked back and said, if I had said no to this opportunity. So because all that time, the 2 years when he didn't have a job, this business helped me. And remember, even that is when the COVID-19 pandemic came in. So I really thank God that I had joined this job, joined this business. Then my third highlight, these are things that are very special to me. My third highlight was a gentleman I introduced this business 6 months ago. He's a father of 6 children. He was working in a school. So schools were affected, they were closed in Uganda. I don't know about Kenya. They might also have been closed for 10 months. So he had nothing to feed his family. All his savings were used and finished. So when I introduced this business to him, he worked hard and he was able at least to start putting food on the table for all this time. Now they've locked us out again and he's still able to sustain the family. So seeing that has also really humbled me with this opportunity. Then there's also a student who had really picked up in his career before the lockdown or before the COVID-19 pandemic, and he's a computer scientist and he was just a wizard, getting money from all places. He was already a member, but seeing the economy has shut down, doing this business has also helped him maintain his standard of living. Then lastly, there's a doctor who joined, and this is a doctor who had a master's degree. What humbled me with her is that she had looked for all kinds of products on the market that were natural and organic, and no pharmacy had them. And she had to get to Neolife. So she recommends them. In about 2-3 months, she has been able to make $700 in her business. She's able to stay home with her family, and she's changing lives using our business. And what is my mission? What is my goal? What is that drives me? Definitely, it's just one thing that drives me, my dream and vision. It's just to change one family one day at a time. And that has always driven me. So if I can do this business and be very successful, you can even do it better than me. Remember, I phoned me as secretary, so you can do it better. So just in a nutshell, I want to share with you how I started using my social media to boost my business. One, I noticed all my friends were on social media. You could hardly meet them. They kept saying they are all busy. So that's one thing that drove me to social media. Secondly, I was still nursing these children because the firstborn is 6 years, the secondborn is 4 years. So I still wanted to spend more time with them at home. So I kept asking myself, how can I meet these people? And one answer that came to me was social media. And I said, okay, so how does one use the social media platform? So I organized myself, I started reading, and I remember I worked on myself. And one thing I remember that I was overweight and I couldn't go on social media until I worked on myself. So when I worked on myself, I was able to develop a product story. And that was my weight loss journey, my amazing success story. So I put it together in a flyer and I wanted now to share it with all my friends. That was my original plan. One, to build my brand and to share it with all my friends on social media. And also I remember at that time my business had gone down and I was making about 500 points every month and I needed to qualify again. Why? Because I needed to take care of my father. My husband had lost his job, so there was a need. I had no option but to step up my game when it came to finances. Everything was looking at me. All corners was just looking at Prudence. I don't know whether you have ever been in such a situation where everybody is looking at you and you're like, okay, now what? What do I have in my hands? So at that time, I had the Neolife business in my hands. So what I did is I put together my product story. I started advertising it and shared it with everybody. I didn't care. I shared it on Messenger, on my status, everywhere. I shared it every single day. And how did I even share it? I remember I I I used to send to them, whether you have read the flyer in the morning, lunchtime you read the same flyer, or you read the same message but in a different form of a flyer. So I kept, sending. I remember I would send 5 to 10 flyers every single day because I was desperate for success. And one thing I have to insist that you have to have a need. You have to have something that is driving you. So personally, I needed the money. I needed the income, and I knew this business works. So I had no option. So I shared on all the social media platforms every single day, morning, lunchtime, evening. It was just part of me. I was so desperate to succeed. So then another thing that came into my mind was like, what if I shared my story to the entire world? So many people are struggling with weight. I would change a family one day at a time. And that also drove me, and I kept sharing my story. Now, when I started doing that, I got so many messages, so many calls, so many requests, so many questions. And now that is where the activity began. So I started sponsoring, like Anne has shared with you, there's a difference between recruiting and sponsoring. Now, when I would sponsor, I would tell them that I'm going to support you and I'm going to see that you are successful, and I would follow them up using the social media platform. And then I would call them. And there's a lady I even visited. There are many people I visited, I remember, but at least most of my relatives came to my office, I remember, and if they didn't join my business, they actually bought the products because they knew who I was, and I was very, very persistent. Then my income started growing. It grew from $100 to $700 every month. Now I started becoming a bit happy. Now, when I was doing the social media advertising and platform, I knew somewhere, somehow, I wouldn't make it big. I knew I would just make it an income that would just sustain my issues at that time. Now, little did I know that people out there were watching, and they were seeing the change in Prudence, and they came on board. Now, even my downline said, no, Prudence, how do you do it? So I started now duplicating myself, and they started doing exactly what I was sharing with them. Finally, I got a downline who started sponsoring around the world. Every month he would sponsor from the UK, would sponsor from Congo, Ghana, name it. And his business started growing. So I started giving him the support. Then the doctor that I told you about is from Zimbabwe. She started sponsoring. She started sharing the products. And she saw amazing results from her people. So they started talking about the business. So the business grew. So when we started social media as a team, we started, and the points were 500 PVs. But now as we speak, there are about 15,000 PVs. So I never knew that it would even grow that much. And little did I know that I was even going to get leaders out of this platform. I was just doing something to meet my need at that time because I desperately needed success. So this is what I'm going to leave with you lastly. Choose which pain you would want. There are two pains. There is the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. Now, there's a difference. The difference is the pain of discipline weighs ounces, and the pain of regret weighs tons, a lot. So choose which pain you would want, because I became very disciplined in what I'm doing. Then what are the advantages of being disciplined or having that pain of discipline? Discipline is a requirement for a healthy life. The moment you have discipline, everything about you will be healthy. Your emotions, your finances, everything, your health, call it the wheel of life, everything will be healthy. Then discipline is an activity. So this is something that you're going to do on a daily basis. Discipline is also an exercise. So it's not something that is you're going to put a picture today and think that things are going to happen only in 1 week. This is something you have to put in your diary, say, have I advertised? In fact, the day you have it advertised and shared your story, feel like there's something heavy on your head or your back. Because me, I would not sleep until I have done my activity or exercise. Then discipline also develops and improves skill. Now, when you're disciplined, you're going to find that your skill is going to improve. And that's exactly what happened for me. And I had to achieve my dream, whether I liked it or did not like it. And I wanted to see myself being an example to my children, an example to my family, and giving back to my dad, what really belonged to him. So that is all I had for you. I thank you so much. Back to Judith Njeru.